Guys, I wanted to do number 7 for you on the challenge review worksheet. That's, I think, the most difficult problem on the challenge review worksheet, and several of you had trouble with it. In order to solve number 7, you're going to have to remember this addition rule that we talked about in class, which said the probability of A or B is equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of both. And if you remember, if you look at this Venn diagram here, that's so that you don't double count this area right here, because it's included in the circle of A and it's included in the circle of B. So you only want to count it one time. So if you're finding the probability of A or B, you could either take the probability of A plus the probability of B and then subtract this area, or you could add these three, this number, and this number together, so that you're only counting these people here in the and section one time. Okay, so it tells me the probability of A or B, the complement, which means not A or B, is 0.18. So in a Venn diagram, that's this part out here in the rectangle, because if you remember A or B, if we added these three areas up, the probabilities for these three areas up, whoops, we would get the probability of A or B, because we would have the people in A, the people in B, and we would only count these people in the middle one time. So that's this part out here in the rectangle, 0.18. They gave me that in the problem for number 7. So if you remember, the probability of an event and its complement, so not the event, is always equal to 1. So right up here I can say, okay, the probability of A or B plus the complement, the probability of the complement will be equal to 1, okay? And that should make sense, because if you look back here at your Venn diagram real quick, the probability of A or B, which is this, and this together, and its complement, the outside part, the total probabilities in a Venn diagram should always be 1. So that means if I want the probability of A or B, I could take 1 minus this complement here. And the probability of the complement, they told me, was 0.18. So if I take 1 minus 0.18, I get 0.82. So that means the probability of A or B is 0.82. The question asks me to find the probability of A and B. So if I use this addition rule, I can get the probability of A and B. So using the addition rule, the probability of A or B, so I'm going to use this addition rule right up here. So I'll copy it down here. So to find the probability of A and B, I would take the probability of A or B, which I just discovered is 0.82, equals the probability of A, which they told me is 0.33, plus the probability of B, which is 0.51, minus the probability of A and B. So if I do that, I get 0.82 equals 0.33 plus 0.51 is 0.84 minus the probability of A and B. So then I could subtract 0.84 from both sides. So if I do that, I get 0.02, actually I get negative 0.02, equals the opposite of the probability in A and B, which means that the probability of A and B would be 0.02. And you can check that out in your Venn diagram. So if the probability of A and B is 0.02, that means this part in the center in my Venn diagram would be 0.02. Oops. And if you go back, they told me probability of A was 0.33. So remember from the last video, 0.33 means everything in this circle has to be 0.33. So this part would be 0.31. And again, it told me the probability of B is 0.51. So if I come back here, everything in this circle has to be 0.51. So you already have 0.02. So that means this would be 0.49. Okay. And if you add all these probabilities together, 0.31 plus 0.02 plus 0.49 plus 0.18, you will get 1. So I'm going to give you a problem to try here, and I'll give you the solution so that you can work out the problem and see if you understand. So if the probability of A is 0.62, in this case, the probability of B is 0.41, and the probability of A or B complements, or the complement of A or B, is 0.13. I want you to use this addition rule up here to find the probability of A and B. So try that problem, and I'll put a post about the answer so you can check your answer and see if you got it right. Thanks, guys.